All right, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 15 of the Marketing Shtick. I am Tommy Sands, filling in for Bashara Jowdy, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today. And with me, I have two of my teammates, Lauren and Alan. Hey,
Hi.
guys.
How are you?
Thanks for coming on. I know you both are super excited to be here with me.
We are. Couldn't wait for this.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a little fun today. We're going to talk about what we know best. Features and functionality of search and YouTube and other, potential exciting announcements that have come about recently through Google Marketing Live or through our conversations and just keeping up with the news. So we've looked through an awful lot of news and new functionality and features that have come out recently, and there's far too much to cover in just a casual conversation. So we're gonna dig into a few here today, and just cover some highlights of what we're looking into and what we're excited about. Sound fun, guys?
Sounds awesome.
All right. So one of the areas where we noticed a bunch of development was in the local aspect of ads and campaigns. And specifically, correct me, we now have a campaign type called local campaigns, right? Very literally called local
Google
campaigns.
local campaigns.
All right, and we dug into this a little bit, and we learned some stuff about local campaigns. Alan, tell us a little bit about, just start from the beginning. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, so Google local campaigns, it's a campaign type, and it's designed to help drive foot traffic into brick and mortar stores. So basically, the advertiser can just put a little bit of information in. It could be their store location, ad copy, budget, bid amounts, and a few images or videos, and Google will display these ads in a radius around that geographical location, and those ads will go across several different channels: search, YouTube, maps, display. And what's interesting now, what Google has done, they're rolling out an enhancement to this campaign type, where we'll actually be able to use smart bidding and bid for that particular goal, which is getting people into a store, increasing foot traffic. So we'll be able to optimize that using smart bidding, like we do with CPA bidding or return on ad spend, etc.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So we're talking about store visits, right? And we've seen different iterations of this come through the ad sphere in different variations and forms, and we've seen some variations of store visit data get put into some of our accounts, right, that we've looked at.
Right.
And so what we're saying here is, and let's talk about this in terms of a local business, right? So you have multiple locations per se, right? You're an auto dealer.
They have to have multiple locations.
Dentist. Right. Okay. So it needs to have multiple locations. Yeah. And so we're talking about in-store visits. So there's like a maps element here, right?
Right.
Where, like, how do the dots connect? How do we start to understand what a store visit is? How does that work?
Well, there's different signals that Google will pick up on. And one of those is geographically. It's going to know that you're in that area. I'm sure it's going to use search behavior and IP behavior to know that you are somewhat interested in this service or store and what's being promoted at the store. So Google's going to use those signals and optimization points to figure out who the right people are to get that ad in front of. And it's going to take a little bit of time, just like all the other smart bidding that we're used to using. It's going to take a little bit of time for the machine to learn who those people are. And as time goes on, the machine learning will really start to get a good understanding and start putting those ads in front of the right people. And you'll start to see the foot traffic increasing in your store, and hopefully you'll see sales and revenue increase as well.
Sure, of course, that would be great. So it's the signals that they can derive from signed in users, right? People who are sort of volunteering this.
Right. They have to be signed in.
Me, for example, right? I need to go get a tune-up, right, on my car. So, maybe I do a little search on the desktop during the day. Getting ready to go to a place. I get on my phone and I search. I check out this place. I get the directions. I go. Right. Google's got signals throughout that entire phase, and the GPS, in the phones is strong enough now that they can pretty much tell where you are, right?
Right.
Pinpoint it to close enough that you're within a reasonable radius of this actual location.
Right. I would imagine they're probably using people literally putting the location into Google Maps to get directions there too.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's another signal that Google's going to pick up on. And once Google starts putting all these signals together, they're really going to be able to dial in on the right people to show these ads to and bring them into those stores.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to create the proper, profile, essentially, or persona, if you will, in marketing, right? They're going to continue to layer on all those different signals and learn and understand the behaviors of, okay, typically when somebody actually goes to visit the store, here's what they do ahead of time, right? And apply those learnings. And to your point earlier, which is really exciting, is this is an innovation in smart bidding, even as innovative as smart bidding already is.
It is. It's another advancement. It's another step in that technology to where we're actually starting to get cross-channel optimization.
Yeah, closer to the sale, closer to tighten that circle up.
You know what I was also thinking? They're probably using people looking at things like store hours. That pretty much indicates that you're going.
You gotta go to a store. Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Without a doubt. Well, that's pretty exciting. I think back to the days of what was it called? AdWords Express or something?
Yeah.
That was like the solution for small business.
Local business.
I know they have a different variation now. Smart.
Remember those days? I don't recall those days.
Yeah, sorry. See the grades? Yeah. It's interesting how, and it's nice to see the local element continue to be in the spotlight, right?
Right.
It's important. There's an awful lot more small businesses out there than there are, big giant corporations and whatnot. And having if you're in a multi-location situation, you've probably undergone some growth, and I think having reasonable, efficient, easy ways to get to the masses, it's excellent. We always like to see that.
Right.
And these campaigns, for everybody's benefit, are probably very, very in a limited fashion available to some advertisers that are already doing some in-store type tracking. But I believe, Google has talked about these rolling out across the next, year or whatever it may be. And that sort of goes for everything I think we're talking about here. These were just general announcements. We don't have any major insights that we're sharing.
And we haven't tested timeline. Right. Yeah. We haven't tested any of these yet. So
no, we're just kind of, just dipping under the surface for the first time together.
Right.
All right. So beyond local, we had a few other pretty interesting topics. And one of them was another sort of, I want to call it a new ad format. But it's more like a campaign, and it's the discovery campaigns, right?
It kind of fits in with the trend of campaigns that can go on multiple platforms.
It's a good point. I mean, literally, we were just talking about how the local campaigns do that a little bit, right?
It's a little more streamlined if someone wants to show up not just on YouTube, not just on search.
So what do we know about the discovery campaigns so far?
They show up on YouTube, on the Discover feed, and on the Gmail social or promotional tabs.
So when we talk about on YouTube, where on YouTube though? It's not like these aren't videos.
They're not pre-roll.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they're showing up alongside results, not in front of a video.
And in your YouTube has like a feed too, right?
Yeah.
And that's where we're talking about. They're going to start injecting some ads into that feed, right? And then there's the Google feed.
Discover.
Right. Discover, sorry. Yeah, I'll learn.
Feed.
The Discover feed, which I use every day, by the way. And this is, so if you're on an Android device, I don't know if it goes over to Apple as well, but
yeah, it does.
If you go to google.com, it's there.
Right. So this is a personalized gathering of topics and insights and articles and whatnot that is for you as an individual user that Google provides. They call it the Discover feed, right? That's what Discover feed. Okay.
I think it's on Google Home, the one with the screen too. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, it's okay. I have one myself. I forget.
It's on there. It's like Google screen. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because that has your feed.
So this is also the first time they're introducing ads into this Google feed as well, right? So these are and then I think the third piece was Gmail,
yep,
right, which is not brand new, but it kind of feels like it fits into this mold. It's the same sort of type of advertisement, right? Like
they want
an opportunistic approach.
Yeah, they know what you're interested in, so they want to. And what I was seeing was they might be showing you information that is even a little bit older, but you weren't interested in it when it first came out. That wasn't one of your interests, but now they recognize it as something you want to learn more about, and they'll show it to you.
So that's an interesting point, because these feeds, because they're so dynamic and personalized, mean that they're current, right? There's almost like this even though it might not be in market, but it's kind of like this in market element.
Yeah.
Where, and I know in my feed, it changes rapidly. If I start looking at something, if I start getting excited about an upcoming event, or maybe there's a movie or a fight or whatever it is, and I start researching it, I know that I start seeing more references to those people or those actors or those whatever I've been looking into. So that's an interesting point, that these feeds are very current.
Well, it's current to you, not current to what's necessarily happening in the world.
Sure,
if
right.
you're not interested in that, it won't show it.
So from an advertiser perspective, right, if we're targeting from a topic angle, trying to put these ads in feeds, the current element I was referring to is more of the user is in that mindset now.
Yeah.
Right? The in-market sort of connection. That's interesting. I hadn't thought
You're
about
not going to show something about, I don't know, cooking to someone who's no longer interested in buying meal prep plans or something.
Right. If you change your interest, or if you've stopped being interested, I think you fall off. And I think that's smart. I think that's how a lot of the in-market targeting works now. Right? Google's continually keeping an eye on your trends and how's your behavior changing, and they understand those cycles of how people are in and out of purchase mode and not. And I think as more time continues to pass and the more signals they continue to gain, they're going to continue to improve those abilities.
It's also good for people advertisers who want to be present on YouTube but might not have video creative yet, because you don't necessarily have to have a video to make a discovery ad.
And so we might have touched on this earlier, but what are these ads? How do they come together? Like what is sort of the format?
Similar to local, as they're dynamic. You can put in text information, you can put in a video, you can put in an image, a logo, and it's going to change depending on where the ad's showing up. If it's the Discover feed, it might be larger with an image. If it's in your Gmail, it might be just text.
Right. Oh, okay. That seems to be also an emerging trend. Every campaign now, we can build ads that are responsive or dynamic in a sense, to adapt to that moment for the user. Well, that's pretty interesting. I've been curious as to when some of these different I don't know what they are, products essentially of Google's that have yet to be monetized, when that would start happening, and seeing some of that come to fruition, which is great for us. It means I don't think they would put the effort into something like this if there weren't people using.
Yeah.
Right. That would be counterintuitive for Google, right?
Right.
I think there's some positive that we're going to have more opportunity to help advertisers reach their target consumers, their prospects, whatever it may be.
New people.
More touch points. I think this is exciting. I think they're opening up more doors and more ways for us to communicate, which is good. All right. I think that's enough for discovery. So we were talking about ad types specifically, and one particular ad type sort of caught our eye for good reason, which was this new gallery ad format, right?
Right.
And Alan, you took a look at that a little bit, right?
I did.
So what did we learn about gallery ads?
So these are going to be images that will appear in Google search. So they're going to add another area for paid ads. These will have images, and basically they're going to push the organic down even more than what
Already happening
now, right? Right. So, but these are going to be very engaging ads, and really going to draw attention. So, my suggestion would be to jump on these as soon as they come out, so you can be ahead of the game. Yeah. So I'm really, really excited for these to come out.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much on this yet, right?
No, not yet.
It's, sort of. I think there's a couple. This might be like a beta kicking around or something like that.
Right. They'll be on mobile, and they will be carouseled.
So
you can swipe right across and look at several different images. Each image will have a headline and description and a unique URL. So you can send people to different pages within your site from those images, which is a lot like Facebook's carousel ads.
Yeah,
as we were talking about the other day, it seems like Facebook or Google's trying to go the way of Facebook with some of their ad campaign types. But this one, yeah, it's going to be very, very engaging ad, and the click-through rate should be
pretty strong, right?
Really, really strong. Right.
So, all right. So I'm thinking about this here, and I don't know if I saw a mock-up of this or not, but when I think of search results now, and I think of images, I think of shopping.
Right.
Right. Like I think people have become accustomed to that sort of, in some instances anyway, right? You have that shopping experience at somewhere in that top ad section.
Right.
That's going to be very image heavy. So I wonder if this is going to sort of have that same sort of appeal, except it will be all for just one advertiser, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to see it's just going to be all my images.
Yeah.
Right.
And all my different messages on there.
Whoever gets that top spot is going to own the search results, basically.
They win.
And if you think about it, I mean, you can tell a whole story through several different images.
Oh my God.
And all having a different landing page.
It kind of reminds me of site links, but like a visual.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it does. It does.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so many different ways you could get creative with that to try to represent different user experiences wow. Cool advancements. These are pretty good.
Very cool.
So in addition to ad types, I know we heard a little bit about this new bumper machine.
Yeah.
Right? And essentially, so this is a new tool for those video advertisers like ourselves out there. This is a tool where essentially AI, right? Some sort of smart machine is going to be able to read your video, your existing video, and understand sort of high points and important moments.
Faces.
And go ahead.
Faces.
Right, where like faces are present and
logos.
Logos, right? The different elements, that are important to have in a video creative. They're going to be able to essentially pinpoint those and extract them to create a series or a set of bumpers for us.
Yeah, it offers variations, which I didn't realize, which is pretty cool. It gives you a few variations to start with. I thought
a couple of different approaches.
Alter it, but it's going to give us a couple to choose from.
That's interesting. I would imagine too. Go ahead.
We can customize those too.
Right after they're done, I would imagine they give you because I know just inside of the regular YouTube platform, you can do minor edits,
right?
Drops and changes and things. So I would imagine it would be, pretty similar in there as well. And I would imagine the longer, creative maybe you feed it, the more it might be able to come up with.
Yeah.
or, I mean, again, this is something we have yet to be able to test out, and we're looking forward to doing that. It sounds pretty exciting. I've done some dabbling in video editing for bumpers, and it's fun the first few times. But then I'd rather have a machine start off with it for sure. As long as it's smart, right? It'll be interesting to test how well they can pinpoint actual human moments and human elements throughout a video, right? But it's exciting because it's another big development in making different ad types and formats accessible to more advertisers, right? If you can get one video put together, but you're like, I can't do bumpers, or I can't do this or that, having these additional abilities and tools available to help facilitate that, I think it's great. Maybe it's not for everybody, we'll certainly have some fun checking it out and seeing if it's worthwhile. But I think these are all some pretty great advancements that we've been seeing coming out. I think this time of year, every year, it seems to get really busy. Our reps seem to have all kinds of extra information and new developments and betas, and this annual event that Google does, the Marketing Live, has become almost tradition. So it's exciting, and we got a lot of work ahead of us getting ready to test and implement a lot of these new campaign types and ad types. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So I think that's it for us today. We covered a handful of topics here. I think pretty well. Any last thoughts from you guys?
No.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. For everybody else, if you like the video, hit like, subscribe.
Yeah.
When the next one comes out. And that's all for the Marketing Shtick episode 15. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.